So it's been a long time since I've made any video journals, and it's November 29th, 2021, and it's been almost 3 months. So I just needed a break. I didn't feel like anything was working. I needed to get back to kind of basics and fundamentals and see if I really even felt like I had an edge. Come back and see if I can reevaluate. And things are going well, and I'm feeling good. So I was considering making some journals last week and didn't end up happening. So here I am, and things have changed a little bit as well. I've been trading the ES over the last month, up over 100 ticks on the ES for November. Oil, I'm up about 100 as well. So I'm going to start trying to take advantage of trying to see how my read has changed compared to how it was. I want to have kind of a reference point from the way I saw the market before as compared to how I do today. So we'll see. The only trade I've taken so far this morning is a long off of this kind of failure of this range. I got in here at 30.50 right before this high was taken out. So this was the failure, the low side of this range, and I was anticipating this supply right here, this high in here, this to be taken out. So 30.50 was my entry. Came all the way up, nice. I de-risked above the break of these highs here. And then we came up to 34.50, which is 4 full points, and I didn't lock any profit in, unfortunately. 32.50 would have kind of been my 2 points to lock in 2 points on that trade. But my expectation on the pullback is for this to hold, so not a great area for a de-risk. And my target was to have these tops over here, these weak highs here taken out. So had an idea to take a long here, and I did have an entry at 53. Didn't get the pullback, this failure, this low side of range with the expectation. Then we had this trigger on this push here, so this is when my trigger was to enter. The issue with this trade is I liked it because we were coming back into this previous demand, and then we had this nice push, but the stop is big, really not wrong until down below this 35, so nearly a 20 tick stop. Volatility has been really high lately, so stops are large and a lot of volatility in the market. The last couple of days, Thursday, Friday, it was like over the holiday, like over 1,000 ticks down, a correction in the market. So I was trading Friday, but I didn't have a single trade, and so just watched it continue to go down and down and down, and just no trades for me. So that's okay. It's just hard to manage stops for me anyway on how I trade with more narrow stops with this volatility. Just hit that 8-point target on the ES. So taking these highs out here, and 38.50 was my target right above there. So 8 points. Missed it, went on this kind of, I guess this was like basically just a pullback, a shakeout, I want to call it. So I also thought about it would have made sense to have my stop below and taken a little bit of, less than a point of risk. But after these tops were breaking out, after these tops were broken, I didn't really want to see price back below here. So, but this happens really, all the time to me, is that we'll get this kind of counter move, and then the push, and then the move. So 8 points is nice. That'd been a nice win, but it's okay. Next opportunity, and then oil is gone too without me. So oil too now is in a little bit of a tough spot. I wanted to be in before the break of the overnight high, because then now all of this is just into kind of fresh space, so there's not much structure to trade. So being long up into here is difficult, and so possibly if there's some kind of short-term counter context trade down to fill in some of this, but for me it's a little bit of a hard trade right here. Unfortunately, I didn't get my CL long live on the video, but had a nice win here. So what happened, price came down, and I marked these low volume nodes here. So the volatility is still here, so a little hard to manage these trades, but here's my swing high that I'm hoping to break up into this area, up into this low volume area. And so when price came down here, and put in volume and failed this zone, and we pushed back up. When we came up into this high here, came down, put in this volume here, we tested this one last time, and then right here we put in this small compression volume, and I got long to come up and break these highs and come back up into this low volume area. So I believe I took 20 something on this one. I can see here, I got 24, so locked in 24, which was a nice trade. Had a -10 earlier off. I tried to jump a long to break the highs up here. This was not a good trade at all. I thought we were going to, it seemed like we had already tested this range up here, and I was hoping that we would come back up. So I was I kind of jumped it. Expectation was to come back up into this range, and that didn't happen. So we held, which was not surprising at all, and then slammed back down. So I took a full loss there. And so sometimes, you try to see what you want to see. I did like it because we were coming back. We came back into this fresh demand here, and it looked like we had these weak highs above. We did have this volume from the high here, so that was going against the trade a little bit. But I thought it was worth a try, but took that for a full loss on a -10 on that one. But expectation now is possibility of setting up for another long trade. We've come back up we rejected the overnight low from below, so now we pushed back up into there. Clearly we're in this, we're back in the kind of the overnight balance range. So seeing this as a large range, so if we can come down and test this, and I get some kind of setup with if we can hold this area, we really are good to go all the way back up into, we've been tested up into the 7150, into this fresh supply here. So don't know if that'll happen or not. I mean, with the volatility, it kind of swings around pretty widely, but that's what I'm anticipating. So I don't really see any shorts until we would possibly take out this demand here, and then fall back into the end of range. And then we do have, basically, the way I see this is we have now this demand here tested. So shorts would be good. Or you can even see that it's been tested all the way down to here, but really this is more fresh demand here. That's how I see it on high volume as well. So high volume here, high volume here. So wouldn't really be looking to short too aggressively, but this has been tested down into this area. So if we do fail this, shorts, I could see taking a short down into this 70, back down to the 70 round number. But the volatility is high, so it's pretty hard to manage stops. You can see, I mean, just in a minute or two, we're swinging 50 ticks. So this is something that I've changed a lot in how I see the market and how I've been trading lately. So yeah, we low tick this demand here, but the issue is now we have basically our range here is from this 7118 all the way down to here. So until we put in some real short-term structure and can take out some short-term stuck sellers, I'm not going to be real comfortable in longs. So that means putting in kind of some back and forth trade, creating a little range, a little value area here, going above that, pushing above that, and then taking out short-term supply. So that's really been the difference. And not just seeing this as, okay, well, we low tick this and we're holding this range, but until we have some trap traders and take out some supply to where I'm comfortable that I'm on the right side and there's other traders on the wrong side of the trade, that's going to provide the liquidity and that I need for the trade. So we'll see what happens in this little area, but I could see it setting up potentially if this holds and we can take out these short-term sellers here. So I'd want to be in if this puts in a range and can fail this area again, but getting in before this liquidity of this seller is taken out, but also because the liquidity of these trapped sellers will move the market higher. But then this is also, you can see this as trouble, so you got to be real careful with taking my risk, watching my risk above this seller, because this is all kind of, I see this as potential trouble basically from this seller down to this area now. So not don't really want to trade right back into that. And now see, we're already taking out that seller. So on the ES, I was hoping to find some kind of short trade that we would hold this area, this range here, have some kind of test into here and a failure taking out some demand, but that didn't happen, and now we're pushing back up into this, which is basically just high volume chop and balance from the open. So we are coming back into this untested supply from this move down. So we'll see how this handles this, but really not going to be able to short from up here, being stuck above these ranges now as well. So in my opinion, not really a great place for a short yet, and not really a great place for a long. Possibly long would have been to take out this range and move back up into this area, but that's kind of over and played out. All right, so I am long here, CL. We'll see what happens. This kind of came back down, tested here, put in some compression and some volume, and I'm hoping that this little supply here will get flipped, and it looks like it's looking okay so far. I'm going to manage this pretty tight here. Now I'm covering my risk and be looking to take this up into this untested area, the 71. I'll probably take it off at the round number at 98. If I can get 20, that would be awesome. So this is looking good so far. Probably lock in 10, but this is make or break time on this trade. I want it to pop above these tops here. This last seller, hopefully it can do that before taking me out on this trade. So I have a little bit of space, but with the volatility, it's pretty wild, you know. So we'll see if we can make that happen. I just locked in 10 on that last little push down, and we'll see if we can get the flush up through. And I just got taken out for 10. Been watching this kind of slow, choppy balance area, and had a few chances, few opportunities. I passed on both trades here. This one at like 77, an entry here. Back to this, this was kind of the trigger. This was taken out, this demand area, and or this supply rather, and then we pulled back to this volume. So anywhere in here would have been a good entry. The little bit of an issue with this is that it took out these short-term highs, but still hadn't violated this swing high here. So I thought it was still valid. And then again here, when we pushed down here, increased volume, and then these short-term sellers all these sellers here were stuck. So push above here, and we held this structure and to take out these highs. I mean, this was obviously weak highs through here 3 times that we'd come up and tested that. And again, I would say my read is still the same to come up into this, probably the 7150 area. But I passed, and I didn't take any of those trades. Maybe a little apprehensive because I didn't want to take any more additional losses, which is not a good mentality. And then nothing in the ES. We're way back up into 46.61, which we came back above into the previous week's range. This 46.50 area, which was a major area. If we were going to hold that, it could have seen a lot of downside, but now we've broken back up into that. So I'm going to be done for the day. Overall, pretty good day. 24 in oil. So that's 2,400 at a 10 lot. And then I only had the one trade, which was good for 8 points, but I got taken out break even, unfortunately. So you can see that here, just a +1. So that's going to do it.